Welcome back to Kin in Line. This is part 54, I believe. I'm in the PFP office in Devereux Avenue, East London. You see the address down there in English and Afrikaans. This is the letterhead, that paper that was actually designed by my brother Ian. He was actually the senior organizer and I was a kind of junior organizer for a few years, which was kind of the PFP, and I think I made a fairly good contribution without much financial reward. Anyway, it was an interesting period, and I used this paper to just another of these subliminal kind of drawings that I didn't really realize I was drawing at the time, but this might really have summed up how I saw the oppression of black people and, you know, distorting their lives like this figure's been distorted. So, for me, there's something about falling, plummeting through space, and here I've even got the letterhead paper upside down, which kind of accentuates the fact that that things are upside down and not as they should be. And here we've got another person sort of cast out. You know, this was all subliminally or subconsciously drawn. I didn't deliberately go out and do that, but in retrospect, that seems to be what it tells me, you know. This one will be quite hard to spot, but this was one of the flyers we used to distribute during the build-up to an election. So the National Party were very blasé about pushing up the bread price or allowing inflation to push up the bread price. But I really kept this just for the drawing I did in pencil there. Quite a weird face and an attractive body. Yeah, here we go. This is another Progressive Federal Party communications seminar. So now you're getting an insight into how political parties work, because I was involved in that for 3 years, and although I wasn't active senior person by any chance, I mean, here we see John Scott was going to address this seminar. It was opened by Dr. Bourrain. So John Scott was a cartoonist on the Cape Times and also later became a senior editor, I think. So these were, you know, interesting times, you know, how to destroy the National Party, get rid of it. But I actually only kept this because I'd done these drawings. And here's a really wonky-looking cow with a human-like face. Really, I was onto this transhumanism thing well before most people, you know. I could see it coming. Here's some of our people, young, progressive, young PFP youth. A couple of names there, all girls, of course. Another PFP AGM notice. And on the back of that, I drew this creature. Again, that's me probably contemplating my next army call-up. Yeah, used the border region fete at the City Hall. So it was quite a thing to be able to actually hold a fete at the City Hall, because that was like marketing, you know. But I kept this again just for the little doodles and sub pictures from the subconscious. Yeah. And these names here, who was Michelle Knight, can't remember. More quirkiness. Weird little dog. Yeah. Don't you love the horizon line is kind of there. So I mentioned print way back. I did a drawing of a printer paper coming out of a man's chest, another transhumanist thing. And this is from, actually, you'll see here, polling district number, whatever that is, 824. That was East London North. So back then we would get the, this was a printout obviously, so early 80s we were already getting stuff on printed out. Notification of joint Bonzabang and Ubi committee meeting. And so I drafted obviously a little letter that had to go out to the members. But I only kept this because of this wacky little drawing of a giraffe. And this guy. But again, it becomes sort of a piece of memorabilia. So this is also quite, for me, an emotional kind of poignant envelope sent by my brother Alistair while he was in the army. I was out, so unless this was before I went, actually. So you can just make out Department of Defense at the bottom there. I can't get the date, but I think it was about 75. It was our address, and I kept this again, not for that, but just because I did a little drawing on the back. And here you can see that the envelope has been censored, censored and signed by whoever, major. It looks like he's a major. So every bit of correspondence was from the army to you was censored. Just to note that this is self-addressed envelope that we used to send out with when we did a drop of literature and stuff. If people wanted to become members, then they could fill in the form and send it back to us. But on the back of that, I'd done this sketch, which is a view from the beachfront, from the Esplanade in East London, looking out towards the other side of Nahoon. It's really Bats Cave. And this is Eastern Beach, really, with the just a little bit of the German settlers memorial in the foreground there. Yeah, also lovely sand dunes along here, and Bunkers Hill behind them. There's a lovely golf course that dates back to the late 19th century.